Hi guys, welcome back. All right, so let's go ahead and take a little peek at whatever our message may be for the energy of the 6th, 6th of March. Can you believe how fast this is going? Here we go. Let's take a peek. We've got follow the leader. Follow the leader is the energy of it doesn't have to be that somebody's following. It could be that somebody is the leader and people are following them, but it's a time to stop and consider that we influence each other in life. So hopefully, imagine if we were all somebody that was, other people were watching. Imagine how differently we might choose to like be more mindful if we knew that like 300,000 people were going to be like under our like training session or something. We would probably behave like with greater introspection, perhaps. So imagining that we are a leader in our own life and trying to step forward like that. I mean, that could be a great, like mindset to have. Just as a whole to walk through life. I mean, it's hard to remember that something like that, but ultimately it might make us feel more empowered, right? And not even like, okay, now let me act better than I normally would because people might be watching. I'm not saying it from that perspective. I'm saying, how would we choose to like, okay, I'm not going to slack off or let myself not do this because what kind of an example would that set? So then instead we take charge of more stuff in our own life just for us, like that's what I mean. Would we be a little bit more, sage in the words that we choose to say? Would we try to create less conflict and instead more resolution if we imagined that we were setting the tone for how everybody else was maybe going to like react as well? That kind of energy could be so empowering. This feels really good. We have the 5 of Cups. How would we behave if we were brokenhearted, devastated even, but we still had a job to do? We would probably, suck it up to a certain extent, and we would, go out and greet the press and we would do our best. So what if our character, instead of saying, I'm devastated, they said, there are there are more important things for me to do in my life. Aries, are you okay? I think Aries just fell off his couch. He's good. You want to come up and say hi? Let me see you. Did you roll off your couch? You okay? You look good. 2 ears, nice little snout, excellent little fur pelt. You look good. Got all 4 legs and a nice tail. Yeah, he's intact, everybody. No worries. The baby's intact still. Okay. Um, sorry, I just heard something and I had to check him. And he was looking at me like kind of embarrassed. You sweet pie. But let's say that. What do we do if we trip and fall? Especially if we were in, like the public eye about to give a speech, we'd dust off. We'd probably, make some lighthearted comment and then we'd continue on. We're humans. We stumble, we fall, we do things, and then we carry on. And this is not to say hide the hurt and pretend that you're not devastated. It's that if we're in like a really powerful leadership position, we still have other things. What's that song like? The world doesn't stop for your broken heart. It just keeps on turning. That's from Prairie Oyster. I think it's called Such a Lonely One. But that sometimes could be like a straightforward but good reminder that as bad as it may feel, our life is made up of so much more than just this one hurt. Our life is made up of so much more than this one sorrow. We have so much more to live for. We have so much more to do. And in some cases, there are bigger things, more important, more valuable things to turn our energy to than the thing that hurt us. And that is not to be without compassion. I don't mean it to sound like, oh, whatever, suppress it and move on, find something happy to focus on, or, oh, other people probably have gone through worse than you. I'm not saying it to be callous. I'm saying a character themselves might think about their own life and say, in the grand scheme of my life, does this hurt define me? Does this loss define me? Is this what I was born for? Did I come all the way into this world just to experience this pain? No, my life is made up of millions of other things, and I have hundreds and thousands of other talents and gifts and, purposes for my life. So it just feels very empowering. And indeed, we have a Queen of Swords. So we know she's like thinking about things with clarity. She is feeling the power of the divine support her right now. We see she's got angel wings. She's using logic to overcome an emotion or an emotional state, and she is owning that emotional state. Doesn't mean she doesn't feel the hurt. It means she is more than the hurt. You know what? I love this story so much because I think it's so relatable. I think everybody's been there. And at least the way she's going to handle a hurt could be to logic her way through it to a certain extent, still feel it, but know she's going to be okay. And then get invested in doing something, maybe something active, maybe something creative, maybe just something to take her mind off of the experience, the emotions that she was flooded with, and take charge and do something. This could be like taking on a little tidying project, reorganizing her closet or something. And it's like, I have this spark of creative passion. I'm going to go throw some energy into this thing that I could do that would further and benefit my life in some capacity, even if it's a 30-minute or a 10-minute activity that I could do. Maybe it's doing a couple of like exercises or something to a piece of music that really pumps you up, 3 minutes of, some passionate, fiery, if it's somebody like bouncing around their house to some piece of music and getting a couple minutes of great exercise or something. I'm picturing this is probably going to be like a hard rock song or, something that's got like some like great tempo, some great rhythm. It's got to be kind of hot. But I feel like if she's going to do that for even just a few minutes, man, this could have major impact in her life. We have a Two of Cups and the Hanged Man. I really feel like something that could have been overwhelmingly devastating on the 6th of March is going to be, through her sheer willpower, she is going to be able to shrink that down to the smaller size that it should be. Things that hurt us, ideally, if we could take hurt and we could say, you know what, because this is a negative thing that I just had to go through and this should not dominate my life. Let me use my little special ray gun to, magically shrink pain into something that's itty bitty, because that should be the least important stuff of my life. What should matter more is the stuff I enjoy doing, the people that I enjoy being around, the exciting moments of my life should be the things that I focus more on. If I could possibly, shrink down that hurt and then focus more on the positives. All I can say is that for her, if she is able to do this, and she obviously is, this is a pretty empowered Queen of Swords. This is going to help her put her energy toward her future, the Two of Cups, what's ahead, what there is to look forward to. Love is on the horizon still for her. Togetherness, the swans mate for life. If this was about a heartbreak, if this was about a betrayal, as hard as it is to say, somebody who breaks our heart and betrays us, probably not the one that we're going to pick then. Even if they came back in, we may say, nope, sorry, already did me wrong. This is already something I don't want. So then why would we sit and hurt over it any longer? It would be like if somebody brought us like a plate of food and everything was burned and it was disgusting. And we're saying to the waiter, like, I can't eat this. It's horrible, but don't take it away. I'm just going to sit here with this in front of me. And every once in a while, I'll still, keep tasting it. And oh God, it's disgusting. No, don't take it away. I'm going to sit here with this disgusting plate of food in front of me, staring at it, smelling it, randomly tasting it for the next 2 hours. Never going to order something new. Never going to even leave or get my money back. Just going to sit here and wallow in how unpleasant the odor and the awful food is. That would be the equivalent of sitting in heartbreak. This queen doesn't do that. This queen is like, woo, disgusting food. Please take it away. I'd like to order something else, please. Or maybe I don't really trust this restaurant anymore. I'd like to go someplace else. You know what? I'm looking forward to a better meal, or I'm looking forward to the next meal that they'll bring out to me that won't be burnt and destroyed. That's way more sensible, right? So if we apply it to something like love and relationship, this is still her choosing the next path for herself. This is awesome. What was the heartbreak? Can we just see that just briefly? Okay, so the reason it was such a heartbreak is because it was a situation that I think she thought was going to go the distance. It was supposed to have been the Four of Wands. And this could have been, it doesn't have to be about love. It could have been about, I thought it was going to be the perfect job. I was going to work for the perfect company. I thought it's going to be perfect, but it wasn't. And that really was so disappointing. This could have been someone she was engaged to, somebody she thought she was going to marry, or he, it doesn't matter what gender. And instead, it turned out to be an absolute, like a devastating loss. Again, I want so much for our character to not have to hurt, so the reason I like this story so much is because she's finding a way to allow herself to hurt, but to still also look toward times in her life that are not going to be filled with pain, and relationships that she still has yet to come. Relationships, I mean, look, a Four of Wands is amazing, but a Two of Cups is even better. Especially one where we see the 5D connection and the 3D connection. The truth of it is she hasn't met the right person for her yet. That person is still up ahead. Maybe she thought she'd met the right one, and that's why it was so devastating. But what if somebody said, you're thinking like, oh my God, it's going to be perfect. And then it's devastating and it's awful. But somebody comes up and goes, wait, what was awful? Oh yeah, that wasn't yours. Yours is still coming. No, that wasn't your plate of food. That was that disgusting thing that we just set accidentally on your table. That goes to table 5. They love burned food. They ordered that. That wasn't meant for you. Hang on. The kitchen is bringing you out this fabulous, lobster and, your steak and your special, herb butter and whatever. It's like what you ordered is actually still coming. She's having a little bit of a hard time believing this on the 6th, even though I think she kind of knows that is the case. We have the Four of Cups sideways. There still lingers a little bit of, then why'd I have to accidentally be delivered the crappy thing? Why'd I think I met the right person and then they didn't turn out to be? Why'd I even have to go through that? 5 of Cups. She is understandably bothered. Maybe even we could say a little bit pissed over the whole thing. The universe says, look, it's hard sometimes to think that sometimes stuff floats down the river, right? And the current of life, the stream is going to bring all kinds of stuff. If you've ever stood by the banks of the river, you see all kinds of stuff float by. You'll see leaves and twigs. You'll see ducks. And sometimes you see garbage that pigs threw into the river, just the people that are just total slobs and they think that they can dump their garbage in the river. And it's frustrating, or I get frustrated when I see people dumping crap into our water sources. I'm like, what the hell? Who does that? That piggishness, that stupidity, the fact that it makes it bad for everybody, not just the aquatic creatures, it makes it bad for all of us. So why would you do it? Why do people do stuff like that? It's frustrating, right? Because you can see the ignorance and the just whatever the bad behavior is that makes them do it. However, sometimes you do see that stuff, right? And so you can decide to clean up the crap that you see going down the river, be the good Samaritan. Sometimes you can't catch it and it just keeps going down river. And it's like, well, it'll probably get captured somewhere else along the way. But there's also great stuff that comes down the river. Like I said, when you see a duck or a heron or, some other creature or something that comes along the river, it can be awesome, right? It doesn't mean that we give up on the niceness of rivers, but sometimes things do pass us by that are they're frustrating. But it does say to, like, in this case, because this is the Knight of Cups, this is saying the flow of life is always moving. Not everything is going to be enjoyable, but we're still supposed to find the stuff that we love, and that should propel us forward to keep trying to make the situation better. Like I said, clean up that area of the river if you see that garbage floating down. You meet somebody through this flow of life and they're not the right partner for you. Let them go. Clean up whatever mess they left behind, and then be more excited when somebody awesome comes along. Be more excited when you see the heron fly by. You know, sometimes we're going to see the ugly side of life. It's not a punishment. It's just part of life. But thankfully, it's the reminder that everything keeps flowing. So look forward to the next beautiful moment. Be more excited about the next person that she's going to meet. And I really feel like this is such a, I don't even think it's very long before she meets this next person, because she's doing so much to like put her head and heart in the right space. We certainly have her powerful here with the wrestler. We got the strength card, strong Leo energy. Ten of Swords. This is just her story of putting an end to that hurtful experience and being ready, and acknowledging that she's ready for something better now, and that she was strong enough to get through this very painful experience, and that she not only deserves better, but that it's coming, and she is preparing herself energetically to receive it. When does this come in? Let me ask about that Hanged Man. King of Wands is like up and away. That Hanged Man can be the, you know, the sometimes a delay, or just flipping the switch and looking at things through a different lens. I was saying, when is this coming in for her? And it's more like, when is this being projected outward for her? I almost feel like she's going to end up with some very warm-hearted, very loving King of Wands, possibly. It doesn't matter if they're masculine or feminine, but someone or something that would be really exciting, that will change her life, take her places that she never dreamed she would go. So in this case, like, say she thought she was going to marry this person, they were going to live in this small town, and that's what she thought her life was going to be, and it was going to be perfect. It all falls apart. She doesn't end up with that person. But then let's say she meets somebody who's like part of the royal family from some other culture, and now this is the person she was supposed to meet. This is the love of her life. And she goes and lives in a palace. He goes and lives in some, incredible, beachfront mansion or something. That sounds like, for everything that we didn't get to have, boy, it's being replaced by something really fabulous. This is worth looking forward to, is the big theme of this storyline. Letting go of something that was hurtful in order to receive something, and look forward to something wonderful flowing into our lives. But it's definitely time for her to look forward to that and to welcome something new flowing. All right, I'm going to leave this here. Thank you guys so much for giving it a thumbs up and subscribing. Bye.